welcome. It is Saturday, the 23rd of April, and you are tuned into Africa Global Radio. We are streaming to the whole wide world from our base here in Accra, Ghana, and the show is the Arts Africa Show, and I am your host, as usual, Alba Sumprim, here to take you on another journey of African excellence. The time is just after 12 p.m. GMT here in Accra. It's 1 p.m. in Lagos, 2 p.m. in Joburg and Cairo, and it's 3 p.m. in Nairobi and Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Now, Arts Africa is the show where we uncover, we promote, we encourage positive, exciting, fantastic African creatives. Today, we are going traditional. And I have not one, but three guests representing the Kae Debi Cultural Troupe, a Kete Adowa dance ensemble. Today's show is going to be like Sankofa. We're looking back and learning to aid us in moving forward. So, as usual, we're going to start the show by dissecting a proverb, and then we will have some poetry. Mami Abba is going to bring us what's new in the arts world. And then one of my guests is going to read from the wonderful, The Gods Are Not to Be Blamed. And then, of course, our musical playlist will follow the call of traditional drumming, not just Ghana, but from other parts of Africa, Nigeria, Rwanda, and a little bit of something from Ivory Coast. I think once you listen to all the playlists there, you'll see that link that just joins all of us together on this continent. So let's get this show on the road. As usual, if you have tuned into africaglobalradio.com, open up another page or whatever and go to Facebook. And so at Facebook, you're going to get all the visuals. You're going to see our guests, myself. And then with africaglobalradio.com, that's where you also get to enjoy the music. So you get the whole package. Just open up Facebook and africaglobalradio.com. Facebook, we are at Africa Global Radio and africaglobalradio.com. So you get the visuals and you get the music. So you're already there, but I'm still going to tell you. Check us out on africaglobalradio.com. On Twitter and Instagram, we are at AF Global Radio. Facebook, Africa Global Radio. And of course, on +2330207064680, you can send us a WhatsApp. Arts Africa is brought to you by Africa Global Radio in collaboration with the Creative Writing Academy. So let's kick off with today's proverb. Today's proverb comes from Burkina Faso, and it's a Kosi proverb. Probably one of the ethnic groups. I know it's also a language in Burkina Faso, so it's probably from one of the ethnic groups. But when I first saw this proverb, I actually also thought that it was an Akan proverb, because it really did sound sort of Akanish to me. But here's the proverb anyway. When the drummers change their beats, the dancers must also change their steps. When the drummers change their beats, the dancers must also change their steps. I'm sure the meaning or similar types of explanations of this proverb you'll find across religion and in all walks of life. And it just simply means the wise adapt themselves to circumstances. In the Bible, it says something as water molds itself to the pitcher. We also have the Adinkra symbol of the crocodile, Denchen, which is the crocodile lives in water, but it does not breathe water, it breathes air. It adapts itself to the conditions it finds itself in. This was the Adinkra symbol that really jumped out at me when I first returned to Ghana from the UK, because it was like, yes, this is having to adapt to another way of doing things, a different culture, and you just have to bend and flow with things as best as possible. Now, culture is dynamic and living and evolving every day, and like a tree, if it doesn't bend with the wind, it snaps. So how do we in our part of the world bring along our culture and let it evolve without losing the essence of what it is? I mean, I think for us in Africa, especially when we have the influx of other cultures that seem so much more attractive, for us in Africa, it's a very important decision about how we move forward with our cultures and our traditions. Okay, so that proverb was, when the drummers change their beats, the dancers must also change their steps. Okay, so that was our first introduction on this show to what this show is about. I'm sure some people are listening thinking, oh, it's just drumming, but listen, everything has its meaning, it has its interpretation, everything is saying something, giving a message. So there's a whole layer of complexity to the drumming we just heard, and I'm really looking forward that when our guests come in, they're going to break it down for us and let us all learn a little bit more about this very, for me, complex, tradition that we have. Obviously, I think the whole world has seen an African dance because now we're all over the internet, and more and more people, I mean, there are those who you would go into the comment section of, some of these online platforms, and people will be like, yeah, why are these Africans wasting their time dancing when they could be creating science or sending ships to space or whatever? But, it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are as a people across the whole continent. Dance is an integral part of our culture and tradition. And obviously, once our guests come in and they start talking about the Adowa and the Kete, it exactly reinforces how important dance and music is to us here in Africa. Okay. So before we move on, and to give you a little snippet about my guests, let's listen to a message from the Creative Writing Academy, which has some information for all of you budding writers out there wanting to improve your skills, wanting to learn a different genre of writing. They have all the professionals and the time and the dedication to help you achieve your writing goals. They're telling the African story, and you just heard a message from the Creative Writing Academy, partners of Africa Global Radio for this show. So give them a call and realize your writing dreams. Okay, our guests today, as I said, we have 3 guests. Their names are Daniel Apia Otu, we've got Evans Edujemfi, and Bridget Udru, and they are from the Kae Debi Cultural Troupe. So I'm really looking forward to them, come in. We're going to have, hopefully, a stimulating conversation about the history and the aesthetics, the hand gestures and their meanings, because, Adowa is an incredibly graceful dance, and, the hand movements, the head movements, all of them come with a lot of symbolism and meaning. They're not just random moves that are out there. So I'm really looking forward to learning from them and, getting educated on aspects of our culture and traditions that I know very little about. And of course, the cultural significance and how specifically this can continue to be meaningful in our modern society. So I'm hoping they're going to really share a lot of knowledge with us when they come. Reggie Rockstone told you, tune in to Africa Global Radio. We have great shows happening during the week. The Africa Daily Show, where, of course, as you've already heard, you find out about the African champions, positive things happening in Africa, what's on, what's new, and a whole range of stuff that, you hear it and it makes you proud to be African. And on that note, I mentioned what's new and what's up, what's on. And this is now the segment where Mami Alba tells us what is happening in the arts world across Africa and the diaspora.
Thank you, Alba. Ramadan Kareem. Welcome to What's On, What's New, where I give you some tidbits from the art scene across global Africa. Let's begin with What's On.
What's on? What's on? What's on?
The first thing we have on today is a special red carpet screening of Ashes to Ashes, a short documentary about Winfred Rembert, a master leatherwork artist who survived an attempted lynching in 1967. In this moving film, we will get to experience the incredible friendship Winfred Rembert built with Dr. Shirley Jackson Whittaker as she created and established an interactive art exhibit to memorialize the more than 4,000 African Americans who were lynched during the Jim Crow era. As icing on the cake, after watching the film, there will be a discussion with Dr. Shirley Jackson Whittaker and a special tribute to the late Winfred Rembert, as well as special presentations. Mr. Rembert passed away on March 31st this year. Now, Ashes to Ashes will be held via Zoom tomorrow, Sunday, the 25th of April, 2021 at 8:30 p.m. GMT, and registration can be done for free via eventbrite.com/e/Ashes to Ashes tickets. Don't forget to head to the website of Ashes to Ashes as well at www.ashestoashesforever.com. Look under ceremony/speak my name and then select the name of one of the victims of lynching to share during the Say Their Name ceremony, which will take place at the end of the event. Following that is Women and Jazz, the climax of a month-long investigation. So in honor of Jazz Appreciation Month, this performance will celebrate the dynamic relationship between womanhood and jazz through story, music, movement, and visual art. Now, the cast of Women in Jazz is a group of women artists from the African diaspora who have looked into various jazz expressions and trailblazers in relationship to their own lived experience. This creative sharing is a glimpse of the creative work and conversation from the investigative process. Women in Jazz will take place tomorrow as well, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. GMT via Zoom, and it will feature Martina Ayoro Otieno, Laura Ekumbo, Kubwe Wambui, Marcia Peshk, Seal Gichohi, Caroline Ngorobi, and Esther Kamba. All that is needed to take part in this event is a donation of not less than $15. Donations and registration can be done via eventbrite.com/e/Women Jazz Creative Sharing Tickets. Now we're done with what's on, but before we zoom into what's new, entries for the 2021 Yasantua Art Prize, which I spoke about last week, are still open. It's open till the 31st of May 2021 for Ghanaian female artists living home and abroad. Now, the application should include an artist statement and biography, as well as 3 accompanying high-resolution works produced after January 2020 in JPEG format. All applications should be submitted to applications@gallery1957.com. Now, let's jump into what's new.
What's new? What's new? What's new? What's new?
In the second part of my hot list, let's look at Oise's Nexus. And this is a short film that is centered on gender-based violence, in particular domestic and sexual abuse. This socially relevant story that is filled with a number of moral lessons follows Oxai, a young girl whose attempt to escape her parents' violent relationship unfortunately lands her in the arms of a sexual predator neighbor. What will Oxai do? You can find out if you watch the short film on YouTube. Now, Oxai is spelled OIZA''X, and the Nexus is NEXUS. Yeah, Oxai's Nexus can be found on YouTube. The last thing we have is a book titled The Green Belt Movement, which was written by the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize, Wangari Maathai Maathai. The Green Belt Movement tells the inspiring story of people who are working at the grassroots level to improve the environment and their country. It tells the story of how an organization grew from one woman's idea to a network of hundreds of thousands of men and women who have planted tens of millions of trees throughout Kenya. Their story offers ideas about a new and hopeful future for Africa and for the rest of the world. Let's all strive to get a copy of the Greenbelt movement and learn some new ways through which we can restore our planet to help with climate change and a better future. And that is the note on which we end What's On, What's New for today. But before I go, make sure to check out my hot list for this week at AF Global Radio on Twitter and Africa Global Radio on Facebook. Have a great weekend. Back to you, Alba.
'Cause I'm a winner, a fighter, a soldier, I'm stronger, I live and breathe like you. Yeah, I'm a winner. Hey people, my name is Zakia Zakia, and you are now tuned into Africa Global Radio, our story, our growth, our future. You can listen to Africa Global Radio wherever you are on the globe by simply logging on to www.africaglobalradio.com. Africa Global Radio, where Africa lives. Support the movement, support your people, support the times, baby.
Okay, that was Zakia. Okay, that was What's On, What's New in the Art World. Women and jazz caught my attention quite recently, and you hear stuff like in science and also in music and other aspects of history where women's participation and what women have done to move it forward is always relegated to the back. So we don't hear her story within history. And so I think women and jazz, that would be really, really nice to know what women are doing in jazz and how they're pushing stuff forward. So that's really fantastic. Again, the Ya Santua Prize, I've shared it with practically every artist I know, and I hope they enter. It's an amazing prize, that they give to the winners, and of course, it pushes African arts forward. And then the Green Belt movement. Madame Wangari was an credible human being. And I love it when you hear of people growing trees across, India. You hear a lot of regularly, and in places like, Kenya, etc. Sadly, and I don't know who's doing that here, but what I do know and see a lot of our trees being chopped down in at least particularly here in Ghana. And I think it's really important for saving the environment and doing our bit. That tree growing is an important thing that we all need to take up, and it should be part of Ghana's agenda, I think. So definitely those really jumped out. So Mami Abba, thank you very much for What's On, What's New. And as she said, you can catch her on Twitter and Facebook for her hot list. Now, my guests are standing in the wings waiting to come into the studio, but before that, we're going to take another musical break. Now, like you, I've heard a lot of great things about Rwanda. It's a country I really want to visit. But one of the funny things is I've never thought about their music or what their arts are like. So as a move from the usual African musical suspects, the South Africa, the Kenya, and of course West Africa, particularly Ghana and Nigeria. And now my guests are in, or should I say most of my guests are in. Ghana traffic can be a little terrible. So gentlemen, please introduce yourselves.
All right, I'm Daniel Apia Otu.
Okay,
and I'm Evans Edujavi.
And of course, we will have Bridget Odro will join us a little bit later. Okay, so tell me, what role do you play in the ensemble?
Okay, I'm the founder.
Okay.
Of the cultural group, and
when was it founded?
Yeah, it was founded in May 2018.
Okay.
Yes, not too long ago, but at least.
What were you doing before you founded the group?
Okay, we've been in this for a couple of years now,
Uh-huh.
and we're still having other businesses doing. Currently, I'm at Ministry of Gender.
Okay.
Yes, and have a shoe boutique too as well, and I'm also doing this cultural performance or dance. You
Performance, yeah.
understand? Yes. So we do a couple of things. That is it. That's it.
Okay. And Evans, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a leading drummer.
Okay.
When it comes to Kete, Adowa, Phantom from
Uh-huh.
Nyomkro, I'm a leading drummer
Okay. And how long have you been doing that for?
since class 4.
Okay. Was it taught at school?
Yeah, yeah. You see, we do have cultural and music competition festival for schools, basic schools and high schools. So what we do is that when it is time, then they'll bring a person to, teach us. So I learned it from that age, and I've been playing
Ever
since
since.
that time. Yeah.
Okay, that is absolutely fantastic. And obviously, as you said, my next question was, is it your full-time job? But as you explained,
No,
you're at the
that is
Ministry of
not.
Gender and you have some. What other
Yeah.
things do you do apart from being a lead drummer?
Yeah, I'm a student.
Okay, what are you studying?
Oh, I'm doing music education
Okay,
at the University of Education in Winneba.
okay. And when you finish that, what is the how is that going to aid what you're doing, or what do you plan to do with that?
Okay, for now, I'm a music director of my church
Uh-huh.
because I'm doing art music, and I can also work as the CNC, Center for National Culture.
Okay.
I can also teach as a music tutor.
Teacher.
Yeah.
And drumming specifically, or across a range?
A theory of music
Mhm.
and African music and dance, Western music and dance.
Okay, so when you say theory of music, is it theory of Western music or theory of African music?
Theory of music, I can say what is based on the Western music. Then the African musicians also adopted the style. Meanwhile, we had our own. So as compared to art music, yeah, we have Western art music, African art music. Then we have the African drumming and dancing as well.
Okay.
So I'm doing everything.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so you guys, you've chosen one of my favorite books to read, The Gods Are Not to Be Blamed.
Yeah.
Okay, so read that one for us and let's have a little discussion about that. Then we'll go for a musical break, and then when we come back, we go into the show proper.
Okay. So let's go this way. So from the gods are not to be blamed. I think page 3 and 4 of that.
Okay.
Yes. He said, he tells them, what is it that the boy has brought as mission from the gods to carry out on earth? Now Babak Fakunle said, this boy, he will kill his own father and then marry his own mother.
Okay.
Bad word. Mother weeps, father weeps. The future is not happy. But to resign oneself to it is to be crippled fast. Man must struggle. The bad future must not happen. The only way to stop it is to kill. Kill the unlucky messenger of the gods. Kill the boy. Mother sinks to the ground in sorrow for the seed that life must crush so soon. Father consoles her in her own grief. Priest of Ogun ties boy's feet with a string of cowries, meaning sacrifice to the gods who have sent boy down to this earth. Priest bears boy to Bonka, the king's special messenger, and orders him to go into the bush with the little boy to the evil grove. But Obatala, god of creation, has a way of consoling the distressed. 2 years later, King Adetusa and his wife Ojola have another son, Aderopo, to fill nothingness left behind by the first. It is now 32 years since the boy was born into the bush to die, and dying stops the awesome will of fate. King Adetusa has met rough death and passed into the land of our silent fathers. I think this is how I ended.
Okay. Why did you choose that specifically to read?
You know, this particular book was one of the literature book in during those time senior secondary school.
Yeah.
It was part of literature works that we did worked on, and it was very interesting. Looking at how the story started and how it went through till the end was very interesting. That is fate, or probably it is called destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny, sometimes we don't believe it, but it is real.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, looking at this particular story, the king ordered the guard to kill
The messenger.
the boy,
Yeah.
but the messenger did not, at the end, did not kill the boy. But later on, he had pity for the boy, so he didn't kill the boy. But later on, the boy grew up, came back to fulfill its destiny. So destiny is real in life.
Mm-hmm.
That is what inspires me a lot here. That's why I chose to read this particular book.
Destiny. I'm trying to formulate the question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the boy knew what he was supposed to do.
Yes.
Right. Do you think a lot of people actually know what their destiny is?
The boy in this particular story, the boy didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
No, the boy didn't know. It was the father who knew, the mother and the father who knew the boy's destiny. The boy was just a little boy, a baby, so he knows nothing of his destiny.
So
But-
I'm talking about. So that's the thing.
Yes.
When you talk, for instance, if you know what your destiny is,
Mhm.
then you know the trajectory you're going.
That is it.
But I think what you're trying to say is that because destiny is stamped in,
Yes.
whether you know it or not, whatever, you will always find your
Find your way.
back to it. What did you
Yeah,
have to
yeah. You know, the boy did not know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the message that they should kill. No, he is going to marry his mother.
A bit
After-
like Oedipus Rex,
Yeah, after he killed the father.
the father.
He didn't know. So they said they should kill him. But since they didn't kill him, it came to pass.
came to pass.
So whether you know or you
don't
don't,
know.
your destiny will still come to pass. So that's what I think.
That's and it's interesting. They said Obatala.
Mhm.
Obatala was there as the supreme god, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because you know the Yoruba religion manifests in different ways across the New World.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, if you go to places like Cuba and Brazil, where Yoruba religion is very, very strong, it's called Santeria in one country. In Brazil, it's called Candomblé. And it's interesting because there, how it manifests, Obatala is not the supreme god. The supreme god is Olodum.
Olodum. Okay.
You know who, and then Obatala is like one of I think there's
gods.
300 and something.
Lesser
know,
gods.
You know, intermediaries.
Okay.
They are intermediaries with so you've got the supreme god, and then you've got all the different intermediaries, you
Intermediaries.
know, like Ogun,
Yeah.
the god of iron,
Yeah.
and Shango, the
Yeah.
god of thunder, and
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and I'm a daughter of Oya, the goddess of lightning.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. That's great. That's great. You know.
Okay.
Good to know.
Okay, so that was some traditional Yoruba music from Benin, and during that break, we were having an interesting chat. Okay, gentlemen, I would like us to start because you know there are a lot of people who don't know much about this particular culture and our tradition. So, between the two of you, give us an abridged history of Kete and Adowa.
Okay, I'll start from Kete.
Okay,
The word is Kete.
Kete.
Yeah, it's a court dance.
Mm-hmm.
The Otunfo Asantehene is the king who was using Kete.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that when Otunfo wants to, have fun, you just come to his courtyard and you call the players, and we call them Agofoma, to come and perform Kete for him. So during the war between the Ashantis and other tribes,
The Ashantis fought everybody.
yeah,
Very powerful, you know.
Yes.
if you are a king under the Otunfo,
Although we did have some strange kings like Kakari and those guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you are able to fight and at least you win for the Ashantis, then he will ask you to now you can use Kete.
Okay.
So wherever you go, anytime you want to, you want them to perform for you, you have the right. Now you have the audacity to.
But that right has to be given to you by
Otunfo.
Otunfo.
Yeah. So you see, as the kings or the chiefs were getting the order to play, everybody is playing the Kete. It was mainly for the chiefs or the king and his wives. So when they want to celebrate, then they'll play for them.
And when they did that, were ordinary people allowed to come and witness it, or was it very private for the royal family?
Sometimes private, other times because maybe something like Akwasidai, Owukudai, Kete has to be performed.
Okay.
Yeah, so when visitors comes, then they can also witness Kete. But as time goes on, people are playing it everywhere. Now you can find Kete everywhere. Even ordinary funerals, you can.
Nowadays, you see it
you see
a lot
them.
at funerals.
Yeah.
And Adowa, you see, in the olden days.
Adowa means antelope, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the olden days, we were hunters.
Yes.
So one hunter went to hunt and he found an antelope dancing to a tune.
So strange, huh?
That's interesting.
Dancing to a tune. So, in fact, he stood there for a long time. So when he came back to the house, he told the people that this is what I found. They said, "Oh, it's not true."
Did he kill the antelope?
No.
He was so stunned by the
Because
dancing
it was
himself.
it was so surprising.
Unusual, yeah.
That, why? And you see, the movements are accurate. So he sent people to the place at exact time he saw the thing, and it was there dancing.
The same dance.
The same
It's the
dance.
same
So
team.
they created an ensemble as what they saw in the bush. So Adowa is mainly for singers and drummers. We drum, then the women sing.
And the dance part of it?
Yes, please.
So they sing and dance.
They sing and dance. But with Adowa, the women sing, the men play, then either a woman or a man will dance. But with Kete, only men and someone will dance.
But women will not dance to kete.
Women will dance.
But they will not play.
They don't play.
They don't play. Why is that?
Yeah. We used to hear that when a woman plays kete, he can't give birth. That is the myth that they were.
Okay.
They were,
We're discouraged from.
But I have a woman who plays a tumpai. So of late, it's becoming normal.
I mean, the places where women were excluded from behind, we are slowly kicking down the doors because they have to be. So then, what is because you always see the names coming together. It's always.
You see, even the real Ashantis, some of them can't differentiate Adowa.
Yes.
Adowa and we have three ensembles. Kete.
Yes.
Adowa. Nyomkro.
Okay.
The Nyomkro, it's somehow like Adowa. But the difference is that Nyomkro, we don't play a tumpan. That's 2 drums on a stand. You could see that they've written the name of the group on that stand, a tumpan. That is for Adowa. But the Nyomkro, you don't play a tumpan.
What are the range of instruments?
Yeah.
What are the names? What is the sort of, how is it made up instrument wise?
Yeah. A tumpan, Adowa uses a tumpan, bell. Then we have a petia, then a pintima.
Explain those two. Those of us who don't.
Yeah.
Because you are a lead drummer, so
Yes.
you know the thing very well. But for those of us, they just sound like names.
Maybe a picture. Maybe if like I have a picture like.
What is or maybe you can talk to us about what the sound of it is like.
Yeah. Okay. So the tumpan sounds like a male and a female. Ting ting. Then the petia sounds very high than all the drums. Then a pentima, between.
So it's sound. like a treble, a medium, and a bass. Is there a drum that represents the bass?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. We have pictures.
Okay,
maybe.
We'll look for some of those and add them to the when we do the rebroadcast.
So when we are playing in Nyomkro, you could see that the women sits in front of the drummers. For Nyomkro, there's no atumpai.
Okay.
So that one too, we use kwadum, which is the leading drummer, the leading drum.
That's something that you would play.
That I will play.
Yes.
Then we use pempen siwa. Pempen siwa is like a box with, should I say strings, or we play like playing guitar. It has
like a kora, but not a kora.
It's like you pluck like this, and it will give you sound. Tun tun tun, like 3 pitches or 4 pitches. Then we used to accompany the music. So as they are singing, you could hear
like a bass guitar.
Like a bass guitar.
It sounds like a bass guitar.
Yeah, so that is Nyomkro. And you can see that the drummers are behind the singers. But Adowa, the singers are behind the drummers. But Kete is, you could see only 5 or 6 or 7 guys playing. The drums are 4 with dono, glass, with rattle, which we call introa. Then we have the highest pitch, which is a brukwa, the master drum, which is kwadum, the apintima. Apintima is always used. The playing techniques of apintima is by bare hand. That is the only instrument that we use bare hand to play. The rest we use sticks.
Yes.
Then we have petia. So that is that.
And so, what is the difference between those? I mean, you've explained what's the difference between Kete and Adowa.
So the difference between Kete and Adowa, Kete, normally we play without singing. Sometimes we would sing some small, but it's not like a permanent singing throughout the performance. But Adowa, we sing from beginning to ending. I can say that the Adowa, the music plays a major role in the Adowa. Kete, you can play without singing. Sometimes you sing, but it is not all that compulsory. Like when you are playing, you should sing. But Adowa, when you are playing, you have to sing. And looking at the Adowa and the Nyumkro, the women sit in front in the Nyumkro, and they back in Adowa. And in Adowa, you use a tumpai. In a Nyumkro, we don't use a tumpai. And in a Nyumkro, we use penswa, that guitar. Let me say guitar, guitar, yeah.
And so the dance itself, because then Adowa is the dance and the music. The dance on its own will always go with that.
Yeah.
That music.
Yeah. The dance throughout these three ensembles, the dance is the same. The movement is the same.
Oh.
Yeah, but you dance, you are doing the same movement.
There's a slight difference.
But you will dance according to the rhythmic patterns they are playing.
Talk to me about the rhythmic pattern.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like some guys just sat there. Because for me, I think there's a very strong spiritual element.
Very strong spiritual element.
It's not just some guys sat there and decided to beat drums. There's a lot of complexity and a lot of meaning.
Yeah. So when you come to Kete, the bell goes like this. King, 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 king. So you could see that if an art musician is calculating the rhythm according to time, like 2/4, 1 2 1 2 1 2 king 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 king. So it's on beat. But Adowa, king 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 ka ka king 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 ka ka, like agbaja, like not on beat.
Like
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So it's a slight changes. Yeah. And Nyumkro is kind of like Adowa, just that the changes of the Etumpai and the Pimpins were.
Okay, so as a dancer, you're the founder, but as a dancer, for me, I find Adowa, especially when the women are doing it, I find it very, very graceful and very elegant. And it seems also to be very, very precise, the way the hands. And talk to us about, I mean, how long does it take to learn? If somebody came and wanted to learn, how long will it take?
All right.
How long did it take you to learn?
It depends. Before I answer you that, it depends on the person wanting to learn.
Well, of
how
course,
fast the person
wants to
learn it, and if the person has the passion.
You have to be rhythmic.
You have to have that rhythmic ear.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay. Before you continue, when I was in the UK, I used to dance semi-professionally.
Okay.
The Ballets Africains from Senegal came to the UK and they were doing some workshops. And I went to one of their workshops. And basically their way of teaching was, they would teach you a little movement. If it was just that, and you would literally just do that for an hour, whatever. The music was going, and you just do exactly the same thing. And then once they think you've got it, then you get the next little movement, and then you build and build and build and build.
Yes. So it's almost the same thing here, but with this, See, you dance according to the rhythmic pattern. You understand? So you cannot just dance.
Are there a set piece? Are there set pieces of rhythmic patterns?
Yes, a whole lot. Not one rhythmic pattern.
How many on average are there, or can people create their own? I mean, are they set in stone, or are they there to be for you to recreate on top?
We have a lot of rhythmic patterns that we do. Let's say on top of our head, it can be more than 10 or so. But the dance is not just any dance. That is one thing. You can't just stand up and say you're going to dance whilst you hear people playing Adowa or Kete. Say you're going to dance. No. In the olden days, if you just if they're playing the drums and you just get on board to dance, your head might be taken off.
So it's dangerous, eh?
Very dangerous. because
basically
you would never know.
It's a language that you don't know.
It's communication.
And then you jump up and you are trying
Very
to say
well.
something.
Very well. It's a communication between the drums, probably if it's a festival, the chiefs, and yourself.
The dancer.
Yes, the dancer. You're talking to the drummer, at the same time you're talking to those present.
And the chiefs.
And the chiefs, you understand? And if you don't know how to dance, and at the end of the day,
you
might
how to
communicate. You might be insulting the chief.
Your gestures.
Or your gestures might be insulting the chief. You wouldn't know because you don't know anything about it. The gestures alone might be insulting the chief. How? That's the next question, right?
How?
That's the next question.
Yeah, because how do you know? Because it's a language.
That is how.
How do you learn that particular language?
Great. It takes time. So we're thinking into that question. That it depends on you. If you're really fast, it can take lesser time. But still, you can't just use 6 months or something to learn everything. No.
I think that it's a process.
It's a gradual process.
Where
Yes.
you learn. I don't think you can learn everything.
No. You can learn everything at a go. And even when you start learning, you can't use about 6 months to perform at a program. Because within 6 months, you wouldn't be perfect to perform at a program.
When you guys perform at a program,
Yes.
on average, how many of the people present do you think actually understand what's going on? Apart from, because there are different levels. There's a level of, like somebody like me, I come, beautiful drumming, the dancing is beautiful, graceful. That is where my level stops. You understand? But obviously there are lots of other levels.
Yes. So those who understand, those who really understand are the kingsmen and those from the palace. And those who have learned something about it or understands the whole cultural thing, the Kete or Adowa thing. Because if you don't know, it will just be beautiful.
Yes.
Nice watching
Beautiful.
the moves, the ladies twisting their waist and their hands, their shoulders, gracefully, the facial expression,
their footwork,
beautiful. That is the beauty of it. But the real communication aspect, majority don't know.
And so it is our culture, but we are excluded from the obviously because it was a king's dance, it was a royal thing that really wasn't part of the general public. But it, for us, whenever you talk of culture, drumming and dancing is very, very specific. And yet it is such, so many tiers to it, in the sense that, I mean, if you're in Europe, you can go to a performance, a ballet performance, something is beautiful.
Very well.
You've heard the story. They are doing Swan Lake. You know the story of Swan Lake. You go, you watch, and then you go home. But the levels of complexity in this means that it makes it difficult for the ordinary person to be able to connect with it.
And before we jump to that, it was believed that these things, Kete Adowa drums and dancing, was something of, let's say, for the gods or something. So people really didn't have the opportunity to learn or get interest in it, because they believe it wasn't with God's will, and it was for
And so, and of course, with
And
with Christianity
taking hold of everything. You know, we are Christians. You know, one, we are Christians. We are a bit, I would say, a bit educated. You know, because I have a diploma in commerce, degree in commerce. Currently pursuing my master's in finance and accounting.
You are educated.
A bit, you know, a bit, a bit. Currently having my master's in finance and accounting. He's also a student. He has been a student. In fact, we will always be students.
Yes.
We will always be students. Because, and looking at things, most people see it as it doesn't belong to the elite. But we want to change things now and let people understand what we do. As in, what the Kete, Adowa, and everything. Just let us embrace what we have as Africans or as Ghanaians, you know, and we have to just move with it.
Because there for me there is a big
Gap.
sort of schism in the sense that you often hear stories of people not wanting to sing traditional songs in church because it's ungodly, and people in their mindset, you know, based on what we see on TV as well,
Correct.
in a lot of the Kumawood movies and things, where practically everything African is seen in a negative light. But it is us. So
is
then
us.
what is it? Are we seeing ourselves, if we see ourselves as negative and ungodly, then how do we move forward?
We can't.
You know,
We
without
can't.
For what I have seen since I started playing, we used to pour libation on the drums, especially the drums at the palace. It might be a drum at the CNC. No one is going to pour libation at the CNC. But the king's drums. When I was a little guy and I wanted to learn this, they got to know that I'm very good. So they sent me to the palace. Charlie, let's go and play for...
the palace in Kumasi, Mensha.
Yes, please. Let's go and play for a program for Otumfo. Then you go there, the old men who were playing the thing, the old men we are learning from will pour libation on the drum. Sometimes even past an egg on the drum. So if you see that, you could say, hey, what is it? Yes, that is what we were doing, because most of the drums, most of the ensembles, we used it when we were going for war. Yeah, and out of the war, we became victorious. So one of the ensemble, like Kete, we used black and red color to cover the drums. The blood in which people poured for our victory. And as the color
for
black,
us.
yeah. So we were pouring libation on them, because you see the rhythms, a rhythm like a dinkra was a king, and he created this rhythmic pattern like the bre become a dinkra. Gradually we are going to kill a dinkra. And you see, these kind of rhythms, when they are playing, it kind of raises a spirit within us. So we believe that the gods helped us. You see, what I've learned in music is that from ancient Greek, Apollo and other gods created music. Then the church killed the priests, and they took the music to the church.
Okay.
So whether you like it or not, music is for the gods. Music is for the gods. Music is for the supreme God and the other gods, because they are all gods. So whether we like it or not, that is why when you play African music, you could see the spirit. You see, the drum is made with a skin of an animal. So you've killed an animal, you use the skin for a drum. So when you are playing that skin, it can call the gods. So me, I have no, intention. Like, I am a Christian, so what? When we came here, we found them, whether good or bad. That is what we have. But the white came and he said, no, what you are doing is wrong.
Yes.
So now we see our own thing as a wrong thing. Yes. That's our problem. So you go to the palace and people are running because they've heard the drum.
Running in fear.
Yeah.
Even now.
Oh, for now,
things are changing.
Little by little, it's going down.
Yeah.
So that is why most of them, they don't even understand the patterns. But most of Ashantis do understand the patterns. When you are playing Kete, you could see that Ashantis can dance.
And even the rhythmic,
the
rhythmic pattern, they are all words. So they are all words. He mentioned one rhythmic pattern is like din. That means so all the rhythmic patterns, most of them are words.
Like the talking
like
drum.
a talking drum. You understand? So if you are there and you're just listening to, hey, this thing is really nice.
So
no, but it is actually saying something. It is actually saying something.
Is any of this being documented?
Let me leave it to him.
I would say it's an oral
tradition.
Oral literature.
Or is it being recorded? Is it being, when I say documented, not just in book form?
People are they've written
something,
but most of the articles, some of them are not true. Comparing to what we have learned from the palace.
Yes.
Yeah. So most of them.
But the palace itself has a research department, I'm sure, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
So if you go there,
then you can find.
But most of them, they fear to go there. Sometimes they think that if you go, they will not give it to you. But it is good that.
Ask and ye shall receive. If you don't ask, you can't get anything.
Yes. So as in our own as Akans, as Africans, as Ghanaians, if you do this,
taxi drivers are doing it all the time.
If you do this,
this
is different from this. Putting the thumb on the fingers, you are insulting someone.
Yes, as I said, you see taxi drivers doing it all the time.
So when we are dancing, we do this as unity. We do this when we are going for the war. We have to come together.
Yeah.
Coming together as one. And if you don't take it and you do this,
you've insulted a king or someone, president.
Is this?
Yes.
Not this.
It's about fisting of a blow.
So literally, is this?
Yeah.
This is a normal one.
Yes.
This is problematic.
Yeah. It's very wrong. This is very wrong. This is very wrong. So if you can't do this, we better advise you to put this one inside. to be on the safer side.
And then what's this part of it mean?
Let's come together.
That.
Let's come together.
And what about, and so how, the fingers can do anything they want as you.
Yeah, but sometimes
you
have to be very careful. If you do this, you mean this place
and this place.
If you do this, you're okay, but this place for me.
Hey.
Let me break it. let me break it. Let me break it down a bit. Especially when there's a king present. There's a king present, and the king is seated, let's say, right in front of you. And I'm trying to give him as a I can do that, and I have to give it to the king.
So how would you
So
do that?
take this,
Take
this,
that.
and give it to the king. That means this place and that place all belongs to you.
To you. Whereas if you do this
Mm-hmm.
and this and do this,
That means it is mine.
then you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble. And I'm in really, really big trouble. Because I'm just a dancer. I'm not a king. I don't have any power. Meaning that the powers here and the powers here all belongs to you. If the king is at my back, I can also equally do the same, but I won't do this because the king is at my back. So I'll take it from here, and I'll take it from there, and I'll just give it to the king at my back. I'll be a bit relaxed, like that. You understand?
Okay.
Not
so
like
you
this.
can actually dance with your back to the king.
Yeah, you can actually dance to the back with the king too, like that, and give it to the king.
Mm-hmm.
That was also a sign of respect too, as the same thing as when the king is in front of you.
So with the hand gestures, as you talked about the rhythmic patterns,
Mm-hmm.
there are a number of them. Talk us through like the different hand gestures.
Hand gestures. Okay,
And
so
what you've talked us. I mean, this one I take from here, I take from
Yeah.
here. This is for me.
but
Problematic.
it is
take from
only
here, I take from here.
belongs to you. See, only a king,
Uh-huh.
only a king can take it from here, and do this.
This, uh-huh.
So if you watched Otumfo dance, another kingsman dance, you see they take it from here, and they put it on themselves.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They put it on themselves, either like this or like this. You understand?
Uh-huh.
That means it is theirs. The powers here and the powers here are all what? Theirs. They have the sole control of the place or the land.
Because you as a dancer, your job there is to praise
to
them.
praise the
so
king.
you can't be doing
Like
for
that.
yourself.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
And I cannot equally do this, point to the king, and raise my shoulders a bit.
Because that's a power move, isn't it?
You understand? Even if you don't understand it, you can infer from the dance. You point to the king and raise your shoulders a bit in a powerful form, like he is the greatest.
Oh wow.
Like that. Then you shake, especially but the ladies, when they do it too, it's really nice, because they have the arms and the shoulders, so they raise their arms and shake it a bit. Every dance will have it. Together. On my own. Okay.
Now, why are you pointing on me? You want to say something?
Something to me, yeah.
So I'm pointing on you. You. What else? You, me, together. You are the greatest.
Yeah,
Are
the
the
greatest,
greatest.
yes.
You
God
together.
together. And sometimes you can do this, look at the skies with your hands up, and descend it to the king.
Lois is apparently very close by, right?
Yeah, sure.
Listen, this thing, I know I'm going over time, but this thing for me is really important.
Yeah.
Why is it so difficult to modernize or adapt many of our traditions? For instance, if you go to maybe the US, ballet was something very specific for white people. But now you have hip hop ballet, and you have things where they fuse and they adapt it with other things. It's still ballet, but it's ballet on another level.
Okay.
And so one of the things, and correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things that I see too is that places like Asia, they seem to be able to take their traditions and fuse it with modern life. Like the Chinese or the Indians and all those things. Why does it seem like it's harder to do with African cultures and African traditions?
Well, let me limit myself to the dance and the drums.
Specifically, yes.
Yes. So
Because that would give a good indication for other things as
yes,
well.
yes. One, I think because we don't like what we have. Most of us don't like what we have, as in our traditional stuff like the Kete Adowa. Previously, we didn't like it because if you're getting closer to it, people or probably family will say, no, this is not a Christian something, so you need not to go there. So people having those mentality or creative minds to change certain things wasn't allowed to go there. You understand? And moreover, it is now that people are beginning to understand. We are now in the first stage of understanding. If you don't understand, you can't create and change. You have to first understand, adapt, create, then you can change. So we are in now the first stage, because looking at Ghanaian weddings and engagements recently, almost
and even the engagements were traditional
almost
weddings.
yes, almost.
But we keep on
just came.
relegating everything that we have.
I think the engagement and the weddings it's now traditionally done.
But even
Recently, it just started recently, like 3-4 years ago.
But even what we are calling engagement is a wedding.
It's
though,
a wedding,
isn't it?
invariably.
Because obviously in our traditions, it's the coming together of two families
Yes.
via two people.
People,
So it's
yeah.
about the families and you know, when you go to the traditional wedding, it's amazing. It's amazing to be there and listening to all the haggling and the whatnot going on and the singing. It's fantastic.
So basically, you see, they are now fusing the Kete Adowa and the likes. In our engagement, people are beginning to appreciate it. So if you don't appreciate it, you wouldn't even think about how to add up or create something. You understand? That is why the effects are behind. But things will change. Yeah, that's about you know, one step. You know, all the tribes cannot start at a go. One has to take a lead, the other one will see, follow, or probably improve. We see, we copy and improve. So if it is Kete Adowa and his Ashantis, it won't bring any conflict of interest. Or no, the other people or the other tribes might also see the significance or importance in it, adapt and improve. So if it starts with it through our schools or through our schools,
some of these
you know,
reality shows on TV where like different groups come together and then there's a nice prize. I've seen they've done it for gospel and other
and
things.
secular music and
Yeah, it would be nice to bring it to the fore. How do we get ourselves to take pride in the wonderful things that we have? That how do we unlearn the bad learning that through slavery and colonialism, you know, telling us that what we have is bad? How do we unlearn that as a people?
With that, I believe it's through education. Because our mind, most of our
What
minds
type
have
of
been.
education? Because if we're talking about the formal governmental education,
It's not going to be easy.
It's the agenda there is not
About this
your
one.
education.
Yeah.
It's just to, you know, churn you out and come and do what you're told and whatnot. But I mean, like critically thinking about stuff.
I think we have a problem as Ghanaians. The point is that we ourselves don't like the thing.
How do we learn to like the thing?
Yes.
because
we have to.
because like you guys have just you've talked really well and very knowledgeably, but it just, you know, in when you live in a world where everything is fast take away, it's very deep what you do. It's very deep, it's very intellectual. And when can I say that the vast majority probably will not have the intellectual capacity to understand that. So then how do we then make it not palatable, but how do we make it something that everybody can tap into without it feeling that it's something so incredibly difficult?
What I was trying to say is that, you see, we still do the cultural and music festival in schools. So I think the curriculum builders should put this music, I mean African music, in our subjects. Because I quite remember when we were in primary, we were doing some little music and dance.
Cultural stuff, you know.
But you see, one thing is that even in the university, what the lecturers teach, they don't deal with it drastically. It's just surface thing. It's only the University of Ghana, Legon. They, I mean, deal with the drumming and dancing into details. So I think they should put it in our curriculum so that we can, I mean, and we should enrich the music and cultural festival.
Yeah.
And moreover, I think we have to also be creative, as we earlier said. You know, we have to bring something on board that will be very catchy.
Something that makes it sexy.
You know, sexy, sassy.
Yeah. You know, something that somebody
Very
can
catchy.
go to TikTok and watch
And
something.
just watch something.
You know?
You know, we have to be creative, very, very creative, and make it very lovable. You know.
Yes,
you have
because there's also the other thing that, yes, it's culture, it's tradition, but I think sometimes we also take ourselves, it's a very serious thing.
You have to make it lively.
You have to make it lively.
Yes, yeah.
Is finding that balance of making it lively without losing the respect that it deserves.
Yeah.
Because I think because it seems that what we have is so intricate and so, you know, finite like that the average person cannot tap into it. And yet it is their culture. So what can you do with a culture that you cannot tap into?
So we have to just move with the time and season. I see now things have changed. Things are changing. Now we're in a technological world, and due to even COVID, you know, everything is about online, Zoom, and everything. We have TikToks, we have Likey, we have Instagrams and our stuff. Yeah, so I think we have to hop onto these things and make the dance and the rhythmic pattern very lively and catchy.
Because
for people to really enjoy it.
When Azonto caught on, I actually visualized that Azonto would take it to the point where they fuse it with other traditional dances.
Okay.
So it could be Azonto Adowa.
Adowa,
You know,
yeah.
something I was expecting it to build and grow to actually become a national something we export, but then it sort of hit a plateau and then. Okay, last question, Lois. You are late, Pam, but still, how do you how can we make? We've been talking. What do you think about how to make all this relevant to us as a people? She takes a deep breath. She says,
But she's a dancer, you know.
Yeah.
She's a serious dancer. You know.
Yeah,
one of our best dancers.
So how it's like I shouldn't throw this one at you like that. Listen, where are you guys performing next?
So which one is our next one? See, we have a list of.
So you are a popular group then.
Yes.
Hey.
I wanted to say something.
Okay, say something.
You could see that of late, anybody who is married, like this customary marriage, they used to call us. So it's kind of, they are now interested in it a bit. That, oh, I'm going to marry and I have to bring Kete for them to. So when the man is coming, we play and dance. The lady also gradually, I think we are going
I love watching our Congolese wedding entrances. And you know, they have the bride, and she comes with all her people, and they all learn a choreography, and music play, and they all dance and they enter. Then afterwards, the groom also enters with his people.
Yes.
Then afterwards, they all join together and
Then
do
they'll
one
dance.
dance together.
You see, some of them will even call you that I'm marrying tomorrow, next week, or next month. I want you to teach me. I want to do something with my guys. They've started.
Nice.
They've started it. Yeah.
Nice. That is
Yeah, so-
also one very good way of getting it.
Yes. So
into
it's. I think gradually
so you go
we
to
are
a wedding
loving
and
our.
you see something like that. It's like really exciting.
We played last 2 weeks.
We played last 2 weeks, and we will be playing next week.
I even played yesterday with another group. I played with different group, not our group.
Hey,
Yeah,
then
we
you are
played.
doing well.
And the government and other institutions also call us.
You know, yeah.
I think Monday we have a program at the ministries. Yeah, I don't know the actual program, but they've started involving us.
Excellent.
So it's up to us to involve the other ensembles, because there are so many ensembles in Ghana.
Yeah.
So I think gradually we will get there. Yeah.
Okay, and so if somebody wants to learn to dance, how do they get in touch with you?
We have this group here, so you take our number, you call us.
Give us your number to the listeners, and then we'll also add it to the video, but let's just let it go out there.
Okay, our number is 050-3285-59 or 0549-398921.
And then, of course, you're on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can. What does the name of your ensemble mean?
The Kae Debi.
Kae
Kae
Debi.
Debi Kete.
Kae Debi. You see, Kai, remember, Debi, I mean, future, maybe, let's say, one day. Remember that something can come a day, or in future. Remember a day. Kae Debi.
Something good can come in the future.
Kae Debi. Remember
So it's not
a
Adepa.
particular
It's not
day.
what?
Adepa,
No. Which are the pa?
like a good thing.
Oh yeah.
You see,
It's really broad though.
Uh,
This name is not, let's say, one-sided.
yeah,
Kae Debi, as they are saying, one day,
something good.
something good would happen. You understand? Kae Debi. Or probably someone has really helped you.
so
Also,
backwards.
remember
What he did.
Okay.
remember what helped you had from this particular person. Don't ignore that person when you get up here.
Okay.
So it has so many meanings. Kae Debi. One day things are gonna change. One day we're gonna move forward. Good things are gonna come. Or remember
A day.
a day.
Remember a day.
Just basically,
remember
remember
a
a
day.
Chale, guys, thank you so much. I wish we actually had like a 4-hour show. Oh no, then you
Yeah.
would also teach us. Lois would teach us some small,
But Lois can teach you some moves right now.
some small moves.
And the meaning.
moves. I learned one or two
Yeah.
things.
The facial expression and
Facial
everything.
expression. If you'd come earlier, you would have been able to really, because I mean, for me, whenever you watch Adowa, it's always the drummers are doing, but it's always the
The
ladies,
ladies,
that
yes, yes.
the focus and all the drama and everything is happening with.
Yeah.
So it would have been really nice if you could have broken all of that.
I want to say something.
Hey, you
yeah,
always want to say something.
Yeah, I've gotten the platform right now.
Uh-huh.
You see, music is kind of something that we should, observe some certain things. As you were talking, you said that only the ladies that we focus on.
Said we tend to
Yes,
focus
that
on
is
the
that is the
ladies.
point. It happens all over. Shatawale is a very good musician, but who plays for Shatawale? Who plays for Shatawale? We don't know. So we should focus on the players too.
Yes.
You know,
And it is very important. Because if you can dance Kete and you don't even know one rhythm, how can you dance? As my brother said, I have to play something for you to interpret.
yes, communication works every time.
I am playing Ketenka Kri, and you don't know what to do with Ketenka Kri. So the Kri is what I want you to do.
And also,
Kring,
yeah.
Kring.
You understand this one, right?
Oh yes, I'm to the
It
king.
always goes with the rhythm.
Uh-huh.
Just let's go.
Kring, Kring.
That's right.
That time you will stand in front of the king, and he will be at your back. You take this, you take that.
And then
All
you give
belongs
it
to
you.
him.
Or I lay on you.
Okay.
That one is also there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like a whole. You could do a whole thesis on that.
You know, yeah.
You could your degree, your master's should be in that though. Huh?
So you want to cut across all angles. So it's never mind. You know, schooling we never end school. So
That's true. Guys, thank you so very much. And again, this 15 minutes I said is 30.
my last words. My
Your
last
last
words.
words, your
My
last
last words.
words.
You know, I would like to entreat us. Let's say, if I say us, the Africans, we are as an African, we have to like what we have. Let us embrace it in any aspect, being it cultural ensemble or whatever, our food, our clothes, and everything. Now Ghanaians, we are trying. You know, we're trying with our traditional way. But let's also go back to our traditional dances and music and everything. Let's try to embrace it. Let it be part of us.
Right, and even the foods.
And the
because now
foods.
we've limited ourselves to a certain amount of food.
Food.
And all the
If
other-
not right, what else? It will also change our level of
Wasn't
thinking.
there one point that some people, if they ate rice, they said they hadn't eaten?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the Asantis.
Yes, that for the fufu
Why?
So when we change all this, it will change our level of thinking.
Yeah,
And you know, thoughts is everything.
yeah.
Thoughts is everything. Thoughts manifest to whatever that you do and everything. So
Yeah.
if we change certain things and we change what is here, we will move forward.
I think maybe our religious leaders also need to play a role
Yeah.
in there so that people don't fear that
That is it.
our traditions might impede them going to heaven.
that is what they are doing. They are rather
And it's never true.
opposing
It's
it.
never true. It's never true.
They have made everything harder. Because the lady I was talking about, the lady drama, his pastor told her that she should stop playing, or else she will not go to heaven. So she stopped.
Why? Because he has the keys to heaven. I mean,
She stopped, and later, I don't know what happened, and she came back.
The
she
pastors,
saw sense.
the pastors has to understand it and just try not to condemn it. Because on this note, let me give a very big shout out to Apostle Dr. Kojo Safu, you know, and you've heard about him, you know him, and I think with him, he has embraced it so well, and that is why I church. You understand? And we do all these things. It is never evil. it is part of normal traditional worship.
Yeah.
You understand? We do the Bible and we play drums and not normal drums as in the Kete Adowa and all stuffs, you know.
Yeah.
And it is trying to enlighten us. In fact, let me give him a big shout out, you know.
Okay, big shout out. Okay,
Yeah,
so
shout
this is where we end, people. This is where we end. Okay, so all of you listening out there, when the drummers change their beat, the dancers must also change their steps. For me, culture is dynamic. It's a living, breathing thing that evolves with us as individuals and as a people. We regularly hear people talking about our culture as if it's something that is static and rigid and can't be changed or modified. Like, take for instance this thing of not handing things over with your left hand, or when you're greeting people, you have to go in a certain way. Most people are doing this without actually really knowing why we are doing it. And it may have been relevant in a past time, but I mean, for instance, the thing of shaking hands when you're going round, they said specifically it was to see if anyone was hiding weapons. If people from another group came going this, you would be able to see it there, whereas if they came this way, you couldn't see it. But you know, nowadays it's a different thing, and yet people are still, I want to hold on you by force, you all have to go, you know, this way. And so I think, you know, we shouldn't keep our traditions and cultures in the past. We need to modify it and, you know, bring it there. Anyway, Lois, latecomer, Daniel and Evans, thank you. You've really educated us today. I wish this could really just go on and on. It's so exciting to learn more about our culture and our traditions, and knowing that there are people who are actively keeping these important aspects of who we are alive in such an exciting manner. We also had Mami Alba telling us what's happening across the world, through Africa and the diaspora. And then, of course, AB and Danny. These are my MVPs in the studio, making all of this run smoothly. And last but not least, the listener. Thank you all for tuning in. We are on africaglobalradio.com, Instagram and Twitter at AF Global Radio, Facebook Africa Global Radio, and you can WhatsApp us on +233 20706 4680. Arts Africa is brought to you by Africa Global Radio in collaboration with the Creative Writing Academy. My name is Alba Sumprim. I'm the host of Arts Africa on Africa Global Radio.